Hello again, everyone. Welcome to another episode of RVBusiness Capitol Talk, sponsored by Dicor Products. I'm Rick Kessler from RV Business. With me, as always, Sherman Goldenberg from RV Business. And joining the two of us today is Bill Sheffer, and it's a very special episode. How's that? After a 27-year career with MARVAC, Michigan Association of RVs and Campgrounds, Bill is going to be retiring soon. And before that happened, we wanted to make sure that we brought him on board and just give us our opportunity to tell you congratulations.
Well, thank you. You humble me for entertaining me today. I appreciate that.
Like I said, Bill has been with MARVAC for 27 years.
As executive director.
Yes.
Last 6 years as executive director. He is going to be, he and his lovely wife, I'm sure, are going to be heading up north here anytime soon. What actually, Bill, what are your plans? When's everything happening?
Well, my contract officially runs out the end of December, so I will be officially done in December. But I'm going to be doing a couple more things for the association, with the association over the next several months, including moving in the and helping manage the upcoming fall Detroit Camper and RV show in Novi. We've got 300 units going in there starting on Monday morning at 7 o'clock. And we've got some new staff members. So it's going to be, I'm hoping to help them out and not just throw them into the wolves, if you will, and hopefully get those units put in the building and do our typical 5-day extravaganza there at Novi.
One thing we ought to mention, and I think Tim would have my head if I didn't, but Bill succeeded Tim DeWitt. Tim was executive director for many, many years. And John Lindley is your successor. He's already on staff, and there's a good transition period between the two of you. But we're happy. I've met John and I'm happy to have him on board as well.
It's gone very smoothly. Thank you for recognizing that. Yes. You know, I worked for Tim for 21 years as a director there at MARVAC and the manufactured housing industry in Michigan. And we worked as a great team, and we've been able to transition that into what John's doing, and he'll be doing that with Darren Ing, which you are well aware of. So,
Sherm, I ought to point out too, among Bill's many stellar qualifications and professional career, he's also a Michigan State Spartan.
Yes, I am proud to be too.
And I realize that in this three-way interview, you know, I am talking to a couple of Michigan insiders, and we're not necessarily talking serious politics here, but a whole bunch of stuff. And you know, so as a born Hoosier, I'll stand by.
Well, as many years as I've been in the industry, which dates back to 1977, 45 years of being in the manufactured housing and the RV and campground industry, I've adopted Indiana as my second state, obviously, because so much happens there that happens with us.
So what 30,000 foot, what do you see as you prepare to phase out on a daily basis anyway? What are you stepping away from? Are things in good shape at MARVAC?
And I'm extremely satisfied with the position the industry and the association is in right now. I see good things happening for all the three industries that we represent in Michigan, and that includes the self-storage industry, which is we took on about I think it was 2007. So we've really put some time and effort into organizing ourselves, being able to kind of juggle 3 balls at once sometimes. And it's made us better managers, I think. And I think it helps our members too, because we can move pretty quickly and help to address any kind of issues they have. Legislatively speaking, that's a big issue for us. You know, we always are battling those who don't want certain aspects of our industry. And we provide the opportunity to prove that it is worthwhile to have the camping and RV industry in Michigan, as well as manufactured housing. So.
Is it?
Go ahead.
Well, I always, this is my own little soapbox, but people don't realize Michigan, maybe second only to Indiana, has quite a few RV industry businesses located in Michigan. Matter of fact, just today, we just got word that Technoform was going to open up a new facility in Grand Rapids. Bill, do you ever feel like, you're at the card table at Thanksgiving?
I guess that you could look at it that way, but I think I look at it more from the retail and consumer side of it, is how many people own RVs. And I think we're number 4 in the country. We follow Texas, California, and Florida, and that's not bad company right there. So I think we do a pretty good job with that. And yes, there's a lot of first and second tier suppliers right in the lower part of the state. As you know, you drive through there all the time. I have driven through there many, many times, and so yeah, it's helpful. I think if the Michigan legislature would have allowed for better tax breaks for those companies, we'd have more here. And and that's always a goal. You always can try and get more people up here. So
yeah, generally, business, what's it look like right now across the board?
well, I said earlier that we're moving a show in Novi, and right now we sold all the dealer space. That means that we'll have over 300 units in there. Supplier is a little more tentative right now. I think they're having some issues with the supply chain and maybe seeing a slowdown in business, but we'll still have some vendors there that will have their wares on display, if you will. I'm more interested in seeing what happens come next spring, to see what the show season's like for everybody, including Florida and us and anyone who puts any kind of large exposition on, to see what kind of response they get from those manufacturers and suppliers as far as exhibitors are concerned.
Go ahead, Rick.
Well, I'm gonna maybe go on a different tangent here, and that's to ask Bill his reflections on his career.
Oh, wow. I've seen so many things happen. I go back to, I think it was late 80s, middle 80s, when Tim DeWitt, I went to travel to Louisville on behalf of the company I was working with, but I also at the time was serving on the executive board of MARVAC. And Tim and I actually went into one of those meeting rooms upstairs at the exposition center in Louisville. We sat down with a gentleman named Tom Paluti. And Tom and Tim and I talked about some kind of a crazy idea that we called it market expansion program. And I know Sherm remembers that, but that's kind of where the Go RVing grew from, was the market expansion program. And so that was exciting. And I was kind of felt like I was on the ground floor of that whole situation as we moved along through the years now.
What everyone always, the answer is usually relationships, but what do you think you're going to miss most?
That's probably it. Funny you say that. I had a telephone call this morning from a longtime member of ours who was a representative of one of the larger manufacturers who served on our board of directors, who's been retired for about 8 years now. And he just called, and he happened to see an article or blurb on the fact that I was retiring. So he wanted to get caught up with me. So those are the kind of calls you enjoy getting, that say, hey, remember me and what's going on, and tell me what's happening in the industry. So I'll be that guy probably someday, 8 years from now. Maybe I'll be calling up Rick Kessler and say, hey, what's going on? Give me the real scoop, And so there's so many things. I think back when I first started in the industry in 77, we probably didn't have a slide out. There wasn't probably, it was on, probably had someone had that idea, but it actually was in operation. Were they actually building units with slide outs? Fifth wheels were just starting to come forward with the ability to put a recreational vehicle on a fifth wheel platform. So all of those things, I've had a chance to see over the years. And of course, obviously, who would have ever thought back then that we'd see $3, $4, $5 million motorhomes traveling down the highway, even here in Michigan, So it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. My wife and I have a home in northern Michigan, which will be our retirement home eventually. And we were up there last weekend, and there was a big balloon festival in a little city called Petoskey. And we were standing out on East Park watching. They were having a balloon fest, and all of a sudden we were standing next to two couples, and I happened to have, no offense to any other supplier, but I happened to have a Thetford t-shirt on. And my wife had a t-shirt that said, I'm a happy camper. And so the two couples were standing there, and they said, "Oh, are you campers?" And we said, "Well, not really." And then I explained to them who I was. They both had just traveled from Evansville, Indiana, in their motorhomes. They travel up to northern Michigan every year, and they stay a couple of weeks up in one of the nicer motorhome communities up there. So it's so rewarding to hear their stories and how we affect them. It's
Bill, as you head into retirement here, got any projects in mind? I mean, we're going to be getting a McDonald's franchise or anything?
No, my biggest objective is to make my golf game better. And we're members of a little country club in the Charlevoix, and believe me, I've been out there almost every day. I'm up there playing 9 or 18, and so I'm excited about that. As long as our health stands up to it, we'll continue to do that. And maybe just call my friend Dave Kelly in Florida and say, "Dave, find me a little place to stay for 2 or 3 months, will you? Because the snow's getting deep up here."
Oh, are you kidding me? Dave will have plenty of room for you. Oh, I don't know, right around end of January, as long as you volunteer for a couple of weeks.
He's already recruited me for that, Rick. I mean, I saw him at the Hall of Fame dinner, and he says, "When can you be down there to help with move-in?" So, I mean, those are opportunities that are good opportunities. So,
I personally want to thank you for joining us, man. And it's a real opportunity. And like I said, Rick, being a Michigan phobe, wanted to make sure that this video occurred, this Capitol Talk. Rick, did you have anything to add?
Well, this is a tongue-in-cheek statement, but all of the best stories that Bill could tell, Bill can't tell. Isn't that usually the way it goes with anything?
I know I probably could be a millionaire if I just cashed in on some of those stories,
Bill, I look forward to catching up with you before you head out.
Oh, we will. And I'm sure our friendship will last a long time, Rick, and Sherm too. Appreciate all your help.
Sounds good, man.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you.